I'm Rachelle Headland, Managing Director of Saatchi Saatchi X. Saatchi Saatchi X, as has been said, specialises in shopper marketing, and it's a trading division of Saatchi Saatchi. So I'm part one of a two-part presentation today that we're going to do. And just for context, Saatchi Saatchi Fallon Group is a network, a worldwide network of agencies, which is owned by the Publicis Group. So it's actually quite a large multinational corporation, which gives us a lot of benefits in terms of shared resources and sharing expertise. But actually, there's a range of agencies within that, ranging from startups to large agencies, and every managing director is responsible for their P&L and driving their own programs and cultures. So what we thought we'd do today, which would be quite interesting, is to talk from our different perspectives. So I'm going to talk from the managing director's perspective in terms of how we try and create that culture and what programs we put in place. And then Kate is going to talk about what that feels like from a creative perspective, which will probably be quite interesting because, as we've said, you know, the creative department has a quite unique perspective as well in terms of nurturing female talent. So I thought I'd just, without reflecting too much, because we've seen a lot of stats today on the issue we're addressing, and if it hasn't become totally apparent, there's not enough executive level women within the industry or within the organisations at large. And when Kate and I sat down to talk about our own personal perspectives and personal experiences within the industry, we were very honest with ourselves. We'd actually overall found it very, very positive. You know, we'd really enjoyed working in this industry. We've never felt overtly discriminated against. We've always felt the opportunities are definitely there for us. But by the same token, and also as mothers as well, we'd felt that we were able to, you know, flex the working hours to adapt when we needed to. I went from client services to new business when my first daughter was very young so that I could go to a 3-day week. Also, I thought that would be a very good experience. And Kate actually turned down the offer of the executive level position at Saatchi Saatchi more than once, apparently, because her son was 18 months old. But they were obviously very keen, so she was able to negotiate pretty good terms from the outset. So that's all very good. But by the same token, we can empathise with a lot of the things that have been said today about did we ever imagine ourselves in those leadership positions, and why didn't we? And if we didn't imagine ourselves as a future managing director or executive creative director, then would that have been difficult for other people to see that ability or drive within us? We embarrassingly have never ever at any point in our careers asked for a pay rise. Unlike our Antipodean sisters, it seems, was our observation, so we've got a lot to learn. And we've also never asked for a promotion at any point in our careers. So, you know, we're probably contributing to the statistic I read in The Guardian from the Chartered Management Institute that, on average, female executives earn £400,000 less over the course of their working lives versus male colleagues with identical careers, and are still likely to be discriminated against. Even when they get to executive level, they're far more likely to be made redundant. So that was slightly depressing reading, and did we contribute to that statistic, and did we ascend through the ranks as quickly as potentially we could have done? So I was very pleased to join Saatchi Saatchi X, who did, and I can't take all credit for this, have a fantastic culture to start with. And just to ramp everybody up and get you feeling a bit feisty, this is how effective women can be when they get organised. They little know what women are. Women are very slow to rouse, but once they are aroused, once they are determined, nothing on earth and nothing in heaven will make women give way. It is impossible. So clearly we're not having to chain ourselves to railings or go on hunger strike anymore, but we certainly do have a responsibility, as has been said, to pave the way for future generations of women, and also appreciate that attitudes are changing. Obviously, the opportunity was far greater for me than it was for my mother, and I believe my daughters are coming into a very different world again. And the other thing that Kate and I talked about is the fact that actually the world is changing. And if there was ever a time for women in the advertising industry, it was now. But there is an interesting sort of challenge here. The advertising industry is very diverse now. It's got a very diverse culture, a very multicultural environment. Saatchi Saatchi, like a lot of organisations, recruit from all around the world. And those different cultures and different perspectives on the workplace are really breaking down the accepted norms in a very positive and progressive way. So, and also the fact that we have to integrate technology, integrate design more, and also integrate insights from around the world is absolutely critical. We're collaborative and also working cross-discipline teams. So these are all playing very much to women's strengths. And we're seeing a lot more women work their way up the ranks more effectively because of this environment. But it also means that it's very fast-paced and very demanding. Working internationally means that you're working in different time zones, and so you're working outside normal working hours. And working with technology means it's very difficult for you to take control of your day. Technology sometimes controls you, and so it's difficult to focus on more than one thing at a time. And net-net, this is eating into our family lives a lot more. And so this is not a sustainable way of working for men or for women, and that has to change. So flexibility is a very good theme, we think. But we find it quite interesting dynamics that it's a time when we need women's strengths and particular abilities more than ever, but it's more challenging than ever to certainly bring women with children back to the workplace. So I'm going to controversially share some insight from ASDA. So obviously the ASDA Christmas campaign has raised quite a debate in the press, but if we leave aside the debate of whether that's promoting women as the heroine or promoting gender stereotypes, there was some interesting, ASDA obviously stay very close to mums, so this gives the perspective beyond just the advertising industry, which I found quite interesting as well, based on the cross-section of women that are ASDA shoppers. So 8 out of 10 ASDA mums contribute to the household income, with a quarter, 26% exactly to be precise, is earning over half, which is incredible. 77% of mums manage all or most of the household budget. 7 out of 10 mums feel responsible for cooking and cleaning the house, and 8 out of 10 do most of the washing and ironing. Quelle surprise. Half of mums want more support from their partner. And 87% of mums think the pressure to have it all will be the same or worse for the next generation. So it's being felt all over the country. And what is interesting is obviously the roles of women, as has been said, has changed quite dramatically. But the roles of men at home, and certainly the roles of companies, have not kept pace with that change. So now we have to leave women to work it out with their own husbands and boyfriends, obviously. But as a company, we can certainly look at how we can support the work-life balance better. And we do believe that it is about a work-life balance. It should be flexible for everybody who works within the organisation to get that, because it makes for a happier, more productive workforce. So it's about, in our view, creating a culture of possibility. And this, it isn't about an overt programme that is targeted specifically at women. If you create a culture of possibility, it creates that environment where a diverse and sociable and creative environment really can flourish. And certainly we're finding that, as has been alluded to, when we bring graduates onto the scene, that women graduates coming in are very passionate, have a very different attitude, and certainly don't want to be laid down with some of the baggage we have. I'm going to have a drink. Excuse me, thank you. Cheers. That we came into the industry with. They see it as very much a world of possibility. This is the Saatchi and Saatchi X leadership team. A very dominated female culture, as you can see from that shot, and I put it up to embarrass my colleagues who are here with me today. Couldn't stop them. So it's actually the exec team and also the creative leadership team. If we'd added client services, it would have made the picture even more female. And looking at the statistics, because we are to be aware of our statistics, we do have a pretty much, from a worldwide basis, 50% intake across the Saatchi and Saatchi network in terms of male-female. At an exec level, we're at about 30%, which is bucking the trend a bit. So we're not doing too badly. Our worldwide CEO at Saatchi X is a woman. And when you look at the UK, my agency, it's actually about 60% women intake, not deliberately so. And at exec level, it's representative of that at about 60%. I wasn't brought in as the managing director. I was promoted internally to the role this year. So I think this is a reflection of two things: the changing world that we just talked about, and also the inclusive culture of the agency, which I'm about to take you through. And that culture very much starts with our purpose. The Saatchi and Saatchi purpose is carried throughout our organisation, and it's very important for a company to have. We align our clients to this, and we also align our employees to this, because if you're aligned in your aspirations and ambitions, you've got a good start point, and there's going to be a better outcome. We believe in picks and pies, which is permanently infatuated clients and permanently infatuated employees, and we build strategies around those. And also, I've highlighted the characteristics of our agency, because we look for these characteristics in the people we employ. And that's also very important. And both men and women will demonstrate these traits. I was at a talk recently where Chuck Porter actually said that you should recruit brains, talent, passion, curiosity, experience in that order. So I guess he was saying that you have to be smart from the beginning. You can't make an experienced person smart if they're not already. And around permanently infatuated employees, we've got 4 key areas: learning, recognition, responsibility, and joy, which in theory means if we deliver well against all of these areas, we should have a great culture and a great environment for people to grow and develop within. So from a learning perspective, we have pretty much a pyramid approach to learning, which basically takes on board obviously what the agency needs to train the people in, but also individual needs. And this is very important because personal development plans are a very big part of our culture. And I'll come on to say how we identify those particular needs. We also do a lot of training in terms of our Love Marks philosophy, and we've got initiatives like Path to Great Work and Reboot the Suit, as we're calling it at the moment, and a lot of inspiration being injected into the agency to develop individuals and to get people working together as teams. Because one thing I will say, some of these softer benefits and softer skills can sometimes grate in a climate like this, but I can absolutely say with confidence that they have definitely contributed to people's morale, to better teamwork, and definitely to better productivity. And the other thing we do is we want to recognise the hard work. It's a demanding environment. We're a service to our clients. People are expected to perform quite highly and quite consistently. So we have other things to recognise that, such as that's Ben wearing a gold jacket because he was awarded Suit of the Month by the creatives. And we also do away days each year, mid-year, to do a sort of midlife kick and to tell everybody how we're going and to obviously reward people. That one was in Brighton. And every Thursday, for about 20 minutes, we just give a 20-minute update on new news when people have put themselves out of their way to do something specific, exciting things going on, and there's a 10-minute presentation with a bit of inspiration in it as well. And this is all just getting the company together more often, sharing what everybody is doing a little bit more often, and promoting a very social atmosphere to the agency. In terms of that recognition, about twice a year we do a talent audit that's based on performance and potential, and put them into this grid system based on that. Now, not everyone in an organisation is going to be a peak performer, but you absolutely need your pipeline of emerging talent, you need your high professionals and your solid citizens, and so it's important to keep those people motivated and developing in the same way. Obviously, you would hope that the focus is in the top half of that grid, so you're focusing on your people that you want to invest in, because obviously the tendency is occasionally to focus in on the people that are not performing that well. But you would also hope there were not many people in that red area, really, because then you would probably bring into question your recruitment process as well. But in most cases, they are the minority. And we also have a graduate recruitment and training program that we're very proud of, and we were voted by graduates as a Job Crowd Top 10 company. And it was done via a lift pitch, so it was aimed at overcoming the sort of online application, humanising the process a bit more, but also getting the graduates to get a feel for the agency and us to get a feel for them. Now, these are the 4 graduates we've recruited over the last 2 years. Again, not deliberately women. And maybe the sort of boot camp, which they spend a day in and working as teams, plays to women's skills. They always perform pretty well at boot camp. But also, as I said, the attitudes of women coming through now are very, very different. Very confident, very clear on what they want. And Hannah, who's on the far right, actually didn't make it through boot camp. and so she applied for our open role as a receptionist, which was a very smart move because she's obviously come into the agency anyway and got full access to the training programs and has a creative mentor, which is where she wants to move to eventually. So it's a fantastic process, and they get to get a 6-week placement. We've got 2 permanent people now, a planner and a designer. So they can go on to take permanent roles, and we obviously make sure they get the training and development they need as well. And the other 2 pillars as well, which are very important, responsibility. We have 100-day plans because we feel that a review once a year is probably not enough time to, or too late in the process when people want to talk about their career development and where they want to go. So 100-day plans are brilliant. You draft them as individuals yourselves. You say what you want to achieve over the next 100 days, whether that's from a business perspective or a personal perspective. You share those with your line manager. You often align with your line manager so that you're both achieving the same things as a team. And I will send out my 100-day plans straight away and share with everybody to kick off that process. And we found this to be very useful, particularly for women, because it's a more comfortable forum to be talking about your career development. It's not marching into the office or demanding a promotion or pay rise. It's actually saying where I want to develop and where I think my strengths are, and it can start to help identify those strengths and USPs that we need to develop. So, and we also have joy, plenty of joy, as you'd expect from agencies. There's Fun Club Friday, which teams take it in turns to run, and there's been themed events for the royal family and also the royal wedding. People had a pumpkin competition for Halloween, but they did the poor man's versions on tangerines. It absolutely got highly competitive, actually. People were going out to buy accessories from the shops at lunchtime to make sure they won that one. And we've also got a knitting club, which was started by a man, not a gay man. He was the same man that won the bake-off with Fallon. So we are absolutely annihilating gender stereotypes in the agency. And obviously we've got the mandatory table football table and table tennis table within the agency as well. So we definitely want it to be a fun place to work. It definitely contributes to getting people together, people getting on well and really enjoying the place they work. And of course, leadership training as well. We work with Peak Performance Organisation, which is achieving outstanding long-term performance for the agency, which starts with individuals. So we encourage our peak performers, to define their own personal purpose. Again, this is obviously plays particularly well with women as well. You know, what do you want? Where are you going with your career? Recognising your unique qualities so that we can drive that peak performance culture and really help people play to their strengths. We also do coaching training, so we train people to be good coaches and to bring out the best in people. And give people access to mentoring. Often people choose their own mentor. They've often recognised someone within the agency that they really like to have that kind of conversation with. And we do a lot of in-house capability training as well. We offer a specialism, so that's quite important. And we do succession planning. So those peak performers, when we have identified them as the next generation of leadership, we put in place succession plans to help get them there and to identify where the skills are that they should play and continue to build, and also those that they should work on. So hopefully, Kate will now tell you that that is all contributing to creating a culture of possibility within Saatchi and Saatchi. That it is an inclusive, social and collaborative culture, because we feel this is incredibly important. And as has been alluded to earlier, role models and mentoring are very important, especially for women, and especially if you don't have women in executive leadership positions in the company already. And it is about flexibility. It's about supporting family life. Family has been put in inverted commas because it's not just men or women or families with children. It is that work-life balance. It is about, yes, you can go to sports day or nativity play, as well as take time out to buy your new house and so on, because there are going to be peaks and troughs within the agency world anyway. So we encourage people to behave like adults and take control of their time, and obviously do the other things they need to do when they can. And personal development plans to help individuals perform at their best, very important. So as we've said, it is an evolutionary process, but every step really is a good step. So I'll leave you on a quote. Now I ask you, if women can do that, is there any limit to what we can do except the limit we put on ourselves?